Hey, good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. This is the author, Andrew Snorton, and you're joining me for another edition of the Fast 15. As we typically do on Wednesday afternoons, about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we take no more than about 15 minutes to take time to pause, check up, check in, enjoy an encouraging note from any of my books or audio books. But the first Wednesday of each month, I'll pull a selection from the library from another author. Then we'll close out with a couple of announcements and updates and words of encouragement. As most of you know, when life is lifing, sometimes you can't wait till the end of the day. Sometimes you can't wait till the beginning of the next day for that moment to pause and regroup and all that type of thing. So hopefully it's something that's helping you and helping others, because I'll admit it helps me to kind of slow down the moving parts. So appreciate everybody who takes time to like, share, watch, replay, repeat, all that type of thing. To stay connected with me, the best way is going to be on Instagram at AuthorASnorton. And when you click on the link in the bio, it'll take you to my link tree, which is linktr.ee/AuthorASnorton. And from there, you can navigate through with the newsletter, which comes out once every 2 weeks. The next newsletter should be coming out tomorrow. All the website information, the social media info, of course, the Author Andrew Snorton blend. So this is the bourbon infused coffee that I'm sipping on right now. Let me get a sip right quick. Give me a moment. Pretty good. Info on the new podcast, Lens Depends, in collaboration with Emery Rose Photography. The archival editions of the Conversation Corner on the Status Network, any interviews, and more. So definitely make sure to like, share, follow, repost, all that type of good stuff. So I definitely want to give a shout to underscore Mr. Seals. Again, underscore Mr. Seals for taking time to join us. Definitely make sure, guys, whenever I see people pop up, I'll definitely give you a shout. Acknowledge the good things that you're working on. So make sure to check him out and keep him encouraged with the things that he's got going on. So so before we get into our topic for the day, as you guys know, I always take a moment or two in our opportunity to pause and reset. We know, like I said, life is happening and life is lifing, and for some people there are some legit challenges going on. So if that sounds like you or someone you know who's going through a difficult time, whether it's physical health related, mental health related, it could be relationships with family, friends, significant others, things aren't going great, because sometimes they're not. Sometimes life hits you at the left and right and in the gut and all that, and that junk hurts. Like, I'll tell you point blank, I can tell you some stories. So if that sounds like you or somebody you know who's going through a hard time, you have every right to feel some kind of way: upset, hurt, angry, all those types of emotions. I mean, we're human. We're going to go through it. But the biggest thing that you owe to yourself is taking the time to pause, regroup, and identify constructive pathways for you to get through it. So if what you've identified requires professional help and you have access to it, please do so. There's no shame in that. If what you've identified means I got to change up the people I'm around or the places that I go, do those things. And you've got to, for lack of a term, you've got to protect your peace. Like, seriously, you have to protect your peace. And if there's things that you're identifying that will help you protect it, then do so that way you can navigate through as best as possible. On the other end of the spectrum, there are people doing real well. There's people who've gotten promotions, who've gone out of the country for the first time ever. They learn how to ride a bike or something. So if you are that person who's accomplished something, you've worked through something, you see yourself growing and things along those lines, hey, you should take time to celebrate, because you know what you had to work through or be led through in order to get there. So definitely celebrate. Don't overdo it now, but definitely take time to celebrate, feed off the positive energy, and then make sure to keep going. Seriously. And let's not forget those who might not be doing so well. So again, I always try to start off with that type of note, because when people log in, you never know what they are or aren't dealing with, and we gotta try to be cognizant of that and sensitive to it. So today, going to a different quote out of the book Quotes and Notes, Something's on the Horizon. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to do so. You can get it on your favorite online platforms, with Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can get it from different bookstores across the country. So, of course, click the link in the bio to find out more. So Quotes and Notes is a compilation of original quotes that I've come up with the exception of one. And deeper than the deep thought that comes from the quote is the logic or rationale behind it, and then a space for the reader to journal. So whether they agree, whether they disagree, you want to go in a deeper direction, you want to go in another direction, because we know what you put in your head eventually is going to show up in some way, shape, or form. So today's quote, I'm going to do this one a little bit differently from Quotes and Notes. So let me run that back one more time. So today's quote from Quotes and Notes is going to be a little bit different, because I'm actually going to share a quote and I'm going to give a little bit of the logic behind it, and then I'm going to go ahead and have you kind of think about stuff. So here it goes. I'd rather be visible than famous. When you are visible, you are able to put the spotlight on you as well as draw attention to other areas of concern and the people who are working in these areas to generate support. It's where it's enough seats at the table and everyone can get a plate. Now, part of the logic behind that, I'm going to read the logic, part of the logic quote about it. However, there are those who get too caught up in the trappings of their position compared to doing something constructive with it. I'm going to run that back one more time. But there are those who get too caught up in the trappings of their position compared to doing something constructive with it. Let that marinate for a second. And there are those who seek out titles and they're pursuing the title, not realizing there's work that has to go on behind that title. And if you're not careful, it's very easy to get caught up, lose your direction, lose your focus, and get caught on the spotlight being on I, me, instead of, hey, it's on me, but I want to share this spotlight because there are things going on bigger than just me. And, you know, there's an example of an entity up in Chicago that has kind of, I'll just be blunt, their leadership has kind of got caught up into that. While in theory or principle, what they're doing is commonplace, when one of the people who they rolled out the red carpet to has made it very commonplace to be disdainful of their organization, disdainful of their members, and disdainful of a demographic, yet another person was given really a casual invite. So let me get this straight. You roll out the red carpet for someone who shows clear disdain. But then, to feed your ego, you treat somebody else just a little bit, absurdly. You've lost your way. And that's not just for that certain organization that's doing a convention up in Chicago. There's a number of examples where we see leadership has lost its way, or people get caught up in the trappings and caught up in the spotlight has to be on me. Now, it's all about finding your perspective. So I'm going to read the quote one more time, and you guys can marinate on that for yourselves. So I'm going to read this one more time. I'd rather be visible than famous. When you are visible, you are able to put the spotlight on you as well as draw attention to other areas of concern and the people who are working in these areas to generate support. It's where it's enough seats at the table and everyone can get a plate. So I'm going to leave that there for you guys to marinate on. To find out more, go ahead and pull from Quotes and Notes, Something's on the Horizon. So a couple of real quick announcements and updates that I want to give to you guys during our 15-minute time. Shouts to Lens to Pens podcast. Make sure to add Lens to Pens, LENS, the number 2, PENS on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Twitter and YouTube are Lens 2 Pens 2024. Make sure to add that. That's the collaborative media project / podcast that we're doing with Emery Rose Photography. We had a great weekend as we covered PBR, the Professional Bull Riding Circuit, that was in town at the Gas South District up in Duluth, Georgia. We covered the first 2 days. Definitely check out the video interviews, the recaps, the photos, all that. And make sure to subscribe to the podcast, which is available on anchor.fm/lens2pens. So our next episode should drop on Tuesday, August 6th. So the first one dropped back on the 23rd of July. You can check that one out. But then the next one will be Tuesday, August 6th. So shouts to Emery Rose Photography. Shouts to Deidre Walker. Shouts to our team at Fonte's Coffee with the collaborative AuthorASnorton blend. This is the bourbon infused. That was, oh my gosh, just roasted not even a little bit over a week ago. So vacuum sealed, all that type of stuff. So make sure to check out fontescoffee.com. Click on the menu for special collections and go ahead and get a bag or two of really good coffee. The AuthorASnorton blend, we have the bourbon infused, the medium, the light, and the decaf. So definitely make sure to check it out. And the decaf is basically a dark roast, just, lower caffeine. Let's see. So shouts on that end. Real excited this coming Saturday. Oh my goodness. This coming Saturday, August 3rd, Social Butterflies Foundation is doing the Butterfly Walk in Hampton, Georgia at the not Hampton, Georgia. My apologies. Hampton, Virginia. There you go. I'm so excited getting my states wrong. So August 3rd, 1 to 4 p.m., Hampton, Virginia, the Boo Williams Sportsplex. Social Butterflies Foundation, the Butterfly Walk. It's helping support and raise awareness for those living with and living through lupus and fibromyalgia. So you want to make sure to check that out. There's still some space for walkers, and if you don't live in Hampton or want to do a virtual walk, you can do it virtually. Another neat thing is in Atlanta, there's an opportunity to support Social Butterflies Foundation as V103 is doing a day party. So make sure to check out the Instagram for V103 in Atlanta from 3, I think it's from like 3 to 8, 3 to 9. But for the day party, a percentage of the proceeds raised are going to go support Social Butterflies Foundation. So make sure to check out Social Butterflies Foundation on Instagram and your favorite social media platform, Social Butterflies Foundation. So make sure to check that out. So we've got that coming up this Saturday, coming off a great coverage opportunity through Lens to Pens, Emery Rose Photography, AuthorASnorton CCS with professional bull riding. So I know there's articles and stuff out on those platforms. The podcast Lens to Pens will drop our next episode August 6th, but make sure to check it out. I gave the website through Anchor, but if you go on Spotify, type in Lens to Pens, it'll be the purple camera, the purple mic, and the purple pen. So make sure to check that out. Gosh, I know there's a couple other things. Oh, for those living in the state of Georgia, probably other states in the Southeast, I know Henry County Public Schools, I think online and in-person start up tomorrow, August 1st. I know they're not wasting any time. Most of Metro Atlanta will get up and running August 5th. So shouts, to the students, get off to a fast start, a good start, and sustain it. Shouts to the faculty, staff, and administration that are in the trenches each and every day of the school year. So thank you to them. Thank you to the support staff. Thank you to the parents who are as engaged and involved as possible. It does take a village. So everybody, to the best of their ability, roll up your sleeves, be ready to put in work. Trying to see if there's anything else that's popping up. I'm sure there is. Oh, the newsletter. The next newsletter will drop August 1st. So when you add me on Instagram at AuthorASnorton, click on the link in the bio, and the very first thing that you'll see is going to be the newsletter. So I think that's just about it. It's about lunchtime out here, so I'm going to pause and get something to eat. But I pray and trust that, again, everybody's doing as well as possible. It's some interesting times, so just try to keep your head as best as possible. But shouts to those who are doing what they can to really make a positive difference in the lives of people, whether you have the visibility or not. So hey, just get to it to the best of your ability. Again, author Andrew Snorton, AuthorASnorton on Instagram. Click on the link in the bio in order to hit up all the socials, the website, the coffee information, the podcast Lens Depends, any interviews that I've done, events, all that type of thing. So as I always try to close out, and I know I flip-flop the order, but you guys know my intent. Whether small or big, a victory is a victory. Whether slow or swift, movement is movement. Keep it victorious. Keep it moving. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care. Peace.